The man took a sip of water. The little girl across from him also swallowed. He raised his cup. The little girl quickly ran up to him. She drank the entire cup of water in one go. Pawan could tell she hadn't had water in a long time. He kindly bought her a big flatbread to fill her stomach, but the little girl firmly held up 2 fingers. After finishing the 2 flatbreads, Pawan curiously wanted to ask her some useful questions, but the girl remained silent. Pawan and the restaurant owner concluded that the girl might be a mute living nearby. Pawan kindly paid for the food and was about to leave, but the girl followed him. He thought she might be begging for money, but when he handed her the cash, the girl just looked at him with innocent eyes. Pawan realized that this girl might have been separated from her parents for a long time, but Pawan, having lived in other people's homes, couldn't help her. Helpless, he hoped that the monkey god he believed in could protect the girl. As he sat on the bus home, the poor little girl ran after him again. Pawan, being kind-hearted, couldn't bear to leave her. At this point, Pawan still didn't know that his turning back would make him a hero in 2 countries. The girl's name was Shahida. She was born in a rural mountain area in Pakistan. Her family had lived a carefree life as shepherds, but Shahida couldn't speak until she was 6 years old. They tried many methods, but nothing worked. The family could only pray to God. Her mother planned to take her to India's largest mosque to pray, but during the night, the train broke down. Shahida got off the train to rescue a lamb that fell into a pit. When the train started moving again, Shahida couldn't get back on. Her mother, fast asleep, didn't notice anything. She desperately chased the train, but no matter how much she waved her arms, no sound came out. Slowly, despair filled her eyes. Just then, another train came from behind. Shahida quickly climbed aboard, hoping to catch up with her mother, but the train just turned around and headed in the opposite direction. By the time her mother woke up, Shahida was nowhere to be seen. When her mother returned, the border had already closed. Fortunately, Shahida met the kind-hearted Pawan in a foreign land. To find out which city Shahida was from, Pawan named every place in India, but Shahida kept shaking her head. Helpless, Pawan decided to take her home first. At this point, Pawan still didn't know that Shahida was actually from the enemy country. Her true identity was exposed during a televised baseball game. When the Indian team scored, everyone cheered, but Shahida remained grim-faced. When Pakistan finally won the match, she jumped up in joy, and then excitedly began kissing the flag. Pawan sensed trouble. Pakistan. That night, the family had ordered Pawan to kick Shahida out. The next day, Pawan took Shahida to the Pakistani embassy, but due to the tense situation between the 2 countries, the embassy was filled with protesters. When Pawan explained the situation, they refused to help, citing that Shahida had no passport. Helpless, Pawan went to a travel agency, but they refused to process passports for Pakistanis. As he was leaving, the travel agency owner stopped him. He said he could use his connections to send Shahida home, but the cost would be 150,000 rupees. Pawan, filled with hope, found himself in a new dilemma. His savings were still far from enough. Just then, his fiancée Jessica handed him an envelope. Inside was the money they had saved for their wedding house.
लेकिन इस समय अपना घर बनाने से ज्यादा जरूरी है मुन्नी को उसके घर भेजना।
नहीं रसिका जी, अगर घर नहीं लिया तो बाबूजी आपकी शादी किसी और के साथ करा देंगे।
तुम अब तक नहीं समझ पाए, इस जन्म में बाबूजी तो क्या, खुद बजरंगबली भी आ जाए तो वो भी मुझे तुमसे शादी करने से नहीं रोक सकते।
When they went back to the travel agency, the clever Shahida already understood what was going to happen. She kept shaking her head, protesting, but Pawan, with a heavy heart, had no choice but to leave. Tears streamed down his face as he left. The time spent together had already built a bond. As he passed a small stall, he saw a toy Shahida liked. He wanted to buy it for her as a farewell gift. But when he returned, the travel agency was closed. Pawan started chasing after the rickshaw that had just left. Eventually, he reached a building with neon lights. When he found Shahida, he realized he had been tricked. The travel agency owner was counting the money from selling Shahida. Furious, Pawan was overcome with anger.
बैठ के बात करते हैं, प्लीज।
जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर जय।
Carrying Shahida on his back, he made an important decision. He would personally take Shahida to her family, but everyone opposed him. It was extremely dangerous to cross into an enemy country without a passport. But Pawan had made up his mind. They crossed the scorching desert and reached the India-Pakistan border. A local smuggler said he could help them cross. At first, he planned to make a lot of money from Pawan, but when he learned Pawan's intentions, he decided to help them cross for free. Because of Pawan's faith, he insisted on getting permission from the patrol soldiers. Shahida also expressed extreme helplessness regarding this matter. When the patrol team arrived, Pawan revealed the underground passage they had used to cross. The officer didn't cause them any trouble but filled the tunnel back up after sending them away. But when the patrol team returned, they found them still standing there. It turned out there was a tunnel nearby. Pawan was beaten badly. Seeing Shahida's tears, the officer ordered his men to stop. He had never seen such a foolish man. Upon learning of Pawan's purpose for illegally crossing the border, the officer said he could pretend he hadn't seen anything.
हम यहाँ ठीक 10 मिनट के बाद राउंड लगाने आएंगे। इन 10 मिनटों में तुम इधर जाते हो या उधर वापस जाते हो हमें नहीं पता, लेकिन अगर फिर दिख गए तो इस बार जरूर गोली मार देंगे।
But when the patrol came back for the third time, Pawan was still waiting at the same spot. He still insisted on his faith. He needed explicit permission to leave.
बोला तो था जाने को, क्यों नहीं गए?
सर वो परमिशन थोड़ी थी सर, वो भी चोरी छुपी होती।
जनाब बिल्कुल मेंटल है ये।
The officer was moved by Pawan's persistence.
ठीक है, जाओ।
But as soon as they entered Pakistan, they were spotted by the police. While eating, Shahida had secretly taken a police officer's handcuffs. Pawan's faith made him refuse to lie, so he admitted to being an Indian without a visa. He was arrested as a spy and taken to the police station. Local reporters began covering this explosive news. As Pawan was being interrogated, Shahida saw a picture on the calendar. It was her hometown. Excited, she raised her hand and nodded to Pawan. Seeing this silent girl, the police curiously pried her mouth open. But this action infuriated Pawan. The police were immediately knocked to the ground. He quickly escaped with Shahida, but the reporters waiting outside saw them and chased after them. He caught the bus Pawan was on and called the police to report their location. At that moment, Pawan showed the ticket seller a photo, asking if he recognized the place in the picture. But no one on the bus knew. Yet, his actions touched everyone on board. Even the unknown reporter helped them escape from the police. In the end, they disguised themselves as a family and began searching for Shahida's hometown. They recorded everything. But sadly, after days of searching, they had no clues. They had to constantly hide from the police. Eventually, they prayed at a temple. Coincidentally, Shahida's mother was there too. Since her daughter went missing, she had been praying there every day. At that moment, Pawan covered Shahida's sunburned face. Unfortunately, the police also arrived. The three of them hid in panic. Once the police left, the reporter turned to the internet. He uploaded the video to seek help, explaining the whole story of Pawan. When they checked the video later that night, Shahida suddenly became excited. The camera had accidentally captured her mother.
उन्हें तो उसको जानती है, वो तेरी माँ है।
It was the best news in weeks. They discovered that Shahida's mother had gotten off a bus. The next morning, they waited for that bus. They started asking the driver about the stops.
उससे पहले पड़ता है करीमाबाद।
करीमाबाद?
उससे जिला सुल्तानपुर।
जिला सुल्तानपुर।
They embraced, overjoyed. After much hardship, they were only one step away. But at the same time, the police had found their location through the video. They set up checkpoints along their route. As they neared their destination, they encountered a police check. Pawan told the reporter to make sure Shahida got home safely. He got off the bus and ran into the woods to buy time for Shahida to escape. At that moment, Shahida's mother, working in the fields, couldn't believe her eyes. Her long-lost daughter was running toward her. Shahida shed tears of joy and grievance. The reporter behind them filmed this touching moment. The reporter finally understood why Pawan had to complete this mission, but Pawan's situation wasn't good. Using the advantage of the hillside, he broke free from his restraints. But when he turned around, the police drew their guns. Pawan was captured and tortured inhumanely. The higher-ups in the police department ordered that no matter the method, Pawan must confess to being a spy. But Pawan's faith wouldn't let him lie. The reporter, desperate to save Pawan, posted his story online in full. This caught the attention of the entire country. Pawan's kindness and selflessness became a bridge for friendship between the two enemy countries. But the higher-ups still refused to release him. The police chief understood that this kind man was innocent. News of Pawan's situation also reached India. All the TV stations started reporting it. At that moment, the police chief made an important decision.
उन्हें हर हाल में पवन का कन्फेशन चाहिए। मैंने अपनी सारी जिंदगी इस मुल्क की हिफाजत और शान के लिए काम किया है। अगर इस आदमी को सारी जिंदगी के लिए पाकिस्तान की जेल में डाल दिया गया भी हमारे मुल्क की शान के खिलाफ हुआ।
When the higher-ups learned of the public uproar, they ordered the border to be closed. But people from both countries began gathering at the border. The police chief, risking his job, decided to help Pawan get to the border. When Pawan learned that Shahida had made it home safely, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Everyone began chanting Pawan's name. The officer told the chief, "I must obey my superior's orders, but there are too many of you for us to stop." Then, the soldiers moved aside, and the crowd rushed forward, smashing the iron gate. Amid cheers, Pawan limped toward his homeland. Shahida was quickly running toward the crowd. Pawan raised his hand to thank everyone. As Shahida squeezed through the crowd, Pawan was about to step onto his country's land. She desperately waved goodbye to him. She wanted to shout, but no sound came out. She gripped the barbed wire tightly, releasing her pent-up emotions. She shouted out the first words of her life. Pawan turned around, disbelief in his eyes. Maybe it was God's blessing. Maybe it was the love that broke through all barriers. Shahida's voice cut through the noise of the crowd. They ran toward each other. At this moment, there is no distinction of identity between them. They have no racial hatred, only the purest love that transcended everything. And the film ended. May peace prevail in the world.